Assalamualaikum, my name is Nuralia Hazwani Binti Rosli and my NAPTIP number is 286527. Today I will present about a process involved in construction technology. First is project life cycle. There are 4 phases in the project life cycle, which is the first is conceptual phase, the second phase is the planning, the third is execution, and the last phase is termination. For the conceptual phase, you need to get all the detail about the project before you even start it, such as identifying the requirement for construction item and appointing and briefing consultants who review the client requirement, proper design lines, and evaluate the feasibility of the project. Then undertaking a feasibility study to investigate whether each option addresses the project and the final recommended solution is determined. Issue of a feasibility like can we do the project, and a justification like should we do the project address it. Then is a planning phase. First in the planning phase, we created a project plan and identifying the project timelines, including the pace of the project, the task to be performed, possible constraints, and we have to estimate budget and creating a financial plan. Use a cost estimates to determine how much to spend of the project and to get a maximum return on investment. And we have to gathering resources like building your functional teams from internal to external talent pools while making sure everyone have a necessary tools like software, hardware to complete the task. And lastly, holding a project kick-off meeting. It's like bring your team on the board and outline the project to so they can quickly get to work. Okay, the third phase is execution phase. This execution phase turn your plan into the action. The project manager job in the phase of the project management life cycle is to keep work on track, organize team member, manage the timelines, and make sure the work is done according to the original plan. And project management step for the execution stage include first is creating tasks and organizing workflow by assigning a granular aspect of project to the right team members. And the second is communicate with the team members, client, upper management to provide updates to project stakeholder at all levels. And finally, we reach the termination phase. This phase we will provide a final deliverables, release project resources, and determine the success of the project. And we documenting project termination to make sure all the aspects of the project are completed with no loss and remainings, and providing reports to the key stakeholder. And we conducting a final analysis of the project, taking into account lessons learned for a similar project in the future. And last but not least, it also be a time to celebrate everyone work hard. We move on to activity involved during construction project. In this period, the construction proposed project will begin. There are 11 activities involved during this construction. One is marking and grading. Marking is one of the first construction activities which involve marking the area of the plot for reference. This helps the workers to always be able to orient themselves in terms of workplace. Grading helps to ensure the building are even long last and maintain maximum support. There may be a particular circumstance when something is being contracted that will require a slight incline or decline to the base surface. 2 is excavation. In general, the term involved involve moving earth on rocks out of a certain area to prepare it for construction. This includes basement excavation, which dig the earth or to prepare for the basement to be built. 3 is concreting. The process of pouring concrete is another major activity in construction. It's often used for the base of the building, for roads, pipes, and many other applications. One of the reasons it has become so popular in construction industry because concrete is easy to make in large quantities and it is chain states, so that it's easy to work with to weak and manipulate. The fourth is carpentry. One of the first activity that come to many people's minds when construction is carpentry. This is general cutting and installing of materials that will be used for the construction of the structure. Five is brick masonry. Brick masons lay the bricks, ensuring that they are laid in a way that is structurally sound. For example, laying each brick one on top of the other allows for the cracks to go along to the entire wall. 6 is plumbing. In structure that require plumbing, there are specific plumbing activity that must occur to ensure they will function properly. This includes putting in piping and mixture for both incoming potable water and outgoing waterways. 7 is welding. The activity of attaching two metals together using heat in welding. A crucial action is in construction used to bind metals, especially for construction purpose. 8. Electrical. Individuals working as electricians on a construction product are responsible for ensuring that the structure will ultimately have full access for electricity from the transformer provided by the electrical company, which is located close to the building. 9 is roof laying. Roofing is important construction activity for ensuring the protection of the structure from the elements and can help provide stability for the structure. There are different methods used for roofing. Shingles are common for the residential roof, but there are also metal, polycarbonate, carbon, and steel roof, as well as many others which are used for the different purpose. 10 is glazing. This activity is basically anything to do with the glass, window, and the doors in a construction project. 11. Lastly is finishing. Finishing in construction means putting on the final touch of the structure in order to prepare it to be used. This includes, but is not limited on activity only for glazing, flooring, and painting. It most often for the final aesthetic touch and slightly less about safety and function. Although all the finishing activities are a crucial part of the final construction product. So now we go to the key players in construction. There are 5 key players in construction. The first one is owner or client. Client, or known as a owner, is the person or organization that is responsible for the cost of a project and get the benefit from the complete project. Then we have architect. Architects are responsible for design of a building, its floor plan and material use. They take the problem the client is facing with their current buildings and fashion a design to solve them. As such, they may meet with the two client to determine their needs. Then they must remain within the project budget, create a design that is both functional and pleasing in the eyes of the client. And we go to the construction superintendent or CS engineer. These specialists deal with the more hands-on aspect of managing the job site. They may attend applicable meeting, but their job tend to consist of more practical and less communicated methods. By we mean the construction superintendent likes ensure OSHA requirements are met on their job site and manage subcontractors and field workers. Then we have a quantity surveyor or QS. This is a person that is responsible to perform financial control, cost and contractual administration of project. Early in the construction project, they will give advice of cost, helping establish total spend for project completion. Often, they will guide the architect or client when it comes to the product specification, and they too will be looking for a value either in capital cost or operational cost, as well as the issue like good availability. Then the last one is the constructor. A contractor is a person that have a contract with a client and responsible for the construction of a project, and the main contractor will slash specially subcontractor based on their capability, availability, and price. Now we go to project planning and controlling. Project planning is important step when building a structure because it outlines the project and provides guidelines to ensure the project is a success. In general, the goals of a construction project plan are as follows. Define the work tasks of each entity involved in the project. Second, illustrate the relationship between different work tasks and individual entities that are performing those tasks. Third, make a decision about which technologies will be used to bring about the successful completion of the project. Fourth, provide a comprehensive assessment of all resources required to complete a project. And lastly, use the plan to arrive at the timeline and budget for the project. Example of how a construction project manager may go about creating a construction plan. First is work tasks, like define all the work tasks. Second is sequence, determine the sequence or order that each task must be completed in. The third is duration, the project manager must estimate the duration that each task will take to complete. And lastly, it requires resources. For each task required to complete the project, by the project manager will want to create a comprehensive breakdown of all resources required. Now in project controlling. What are project controlling? Project control are a set of processes used to understand and influence the amount of the time or money spent on a project. Each project control focus on the distinct part of the project plan, like a schedule, resources, and or potential risks. Project control focus on the following. There are three. First one is project budget. Second is project schedule, and the third is project quality. There are 5 processes used to project control to understand and influence the time and money spent on the project. The first one is a schedule. Schedule resources to get a good sense of the project calendar and timelines. The second is resources. Allocate resources during project initiation and calculate earned value during development. The third is risk. Perform risk analysis to identify and prevent risks from ruining your project. And the fourth one is a change. Implement a change control process to prevent a scope creep. And lastly, a performance. Set key performance indicator or KPI to assess project performance. Now we go to how a successful construction. The first one is implement continuous planning. Construction managers to start planning long before a project begins and continue to revise and develop develop the plan until the project ends. The design, pre-construction, and pre-requirement stage of each construction project require immense planning, and each may need to revise at the next phase begin. Anything can happen at the construction sites. If you experience unexpected environmental problem during a pre-construction phase, design change may be unnecessary, and slightly adjustment can affect the whole plan, the timelines. Second is build an effective communication flow. Communication is crucial in every phase of any construction project. Building and effecting communication flow will facilitate a coordinate between all the parties. Furthermore, transparent communication will make the process smoother and reduce the number of the emails and phone calls whenever there is an issue. One of the simple ways to create effective communication flow is using a centralized communication system by synchronizing comments, photo, document, and calendar in one location. You can monitor updates, costs, and scheduling a change as they occur. 3. Re-evaluate your workflow. The purpose of construction project management is to ensure that the project is completed on time, within a budget, and reach the target. However, even if the project runs well, you still have to evaluate it. Without complete assessment, you will never know what you can improve for better profits. Therefore, the best way to have a successful construction project is to continually evaluate the way you manage it. Ask involved parties to provide feedback on your workflow. The fourth one is use an automated construction project management solution. An automated system allows you to save time and effort managing each project. Furthermore, it enables you to generate reports instantly and share any information with the right people at the right time. Not only benefit you as a construction manager, but also your teams, subcontractor, partner, and shareholders. The last one is a control cost of construction project in the smarter way. The permit which materials and equipment required for the project are often exchanged between multiple financial resources and vendors. From the initial bidding process to the closing of the project, construction managers are responsible for tracking and monitoring all costs, especially those related to the initial budget. Thank you. That's all for me.